Hello everyone, I'm back again. I'm doing a little bit of a series on the Vodafone B2000 router. Today I'm going to go through a couple of the settings. I'm going to do the status settings, and I'm also going to do the setup wizard. So let's get started. I'm going to log into the router here. Whoops. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, so first things first, let's just go through the status. The status will show you um, what's up with the SIM card, your internet settings, status at least. This will show you that the pin is disabled. Uh, it'll show you what network mode you're on, if it's UMTS or LTE or GSM. We're obviously not connected to the GSM or the GPRS service, so it's not giving me any IP address. I've got the MAC address, I've got the voice channels, and all the rest of it. And then there's some connection statistics here where you can see what your upload and download rate is, what the volume was, what the total volume was, and how long you've been connected. So if we go on to the LAN, this will show you the router's IP address, just the basic status. Is the DHCP server on? Which LAN ports are being utilized, and if anything is connected, if it's on or not. Shows you your MAC address. It also then shows you some statistics on each of the ports, what the total volume of packets were received and sent, which ones, how many were discarded, what the total volume is, and just some general statistics on your LAN. Then your wireless LAN, basically the same as the wired LAN, gives you all the information. You can also see that there are different SSIDs, up to 4 SSIDs. This will be set up when you do multiple WLAN setup, which we'll cover in a later video. But then I'll show you guys how to set this up and how to use it. Okay, so what we're going to do from here on in, we're just going to go through the setup wizard. We are going to go through each one of these steps so I can show what the steps look like and give you a feel of how to do the settings using the setup wizard. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the pin. My SIM card that I'm currently using in here has no SIM pin, so I'm going to leave it as disabled, and I'm going to just click on next. Now I can set what network mode. Now if we click on the drop down box here, we can go LTE preferred, which means if there's LTE signal, it will register on the LTE network. If you choose LTE only, it will only register on the LTE network and ignore the UMTS and GSM signal. If you set it to UMTS and GSM preferred, it will use the strongest signal that it can find. If UMTS is stronger than LTE, it will register on the UMTS network. If you switch it to LTE preferred, it will switch to LTE instead of switching to GSM if it's stronger. And then you can choose UMTS only, which will only register on the UMTS network, or you can choose GSM only, which will register only on the GSM network. So those are your choices. I'm going to choose UMTS. I'm going to click on next. Here you can set some basic wireless LAN configs. You can enable or disable the wireless LAN. You can switch it on and off. You can use your modes. You can choose between the modes if you want to use B only or N only or G only or B and G or BG and N all together. You can choose that if you wanted to. Do not be concerned about the country or the region saying Romania. It's perfectly fine. This is basically just power settings for the wireless LAN. The power settings meaning the strength of the radio that or the frequency of the radio that the wireless LAN chip inside the router is broadcasting the signal out on. That's what the country origin is for. Romania and South Africa share the same power restrictions. So don't be concerned about it saying Romania. It's perfectly normal. It's perfectly fine. Then you can choose the channel. Please, I suggest do not change the channel unless you know what you're doing. These are channels for the Wi-Fi. You can Google or YouTube some of these videos as well, which explains what the channels are. But I suggest just leaving it on automatic. You can change your SSID. Now this is the little ID that you're going to see when you try and connect to it wirelessly. I'm going to try see if I can get it here. There it is over there. That's the wireless SSID that you're going to be changing. So if we change it over here, it's going to change it over here. Okay, and then you can hide your SSID broadcast, which means if I do a scan using Windows connection manager over here on the pane, it's not going to see the SSID. It won't list it here. But you can still connect to it. You can manually do a connection to it, and you have to manually type in the SSID, and then you can make a connection. It's a little security feature, but sometimes it makes it a little difficult for people to connect to your network if they don't know what your SSID is. All right, so let's go on to the next one. We can click on next here. This is the security. The security is quite intense. It's got all the security, well, not all of them, but most of the used ones anyway. You can either choose to switch it off. You can choose WEP, WPA PSK, WPA2 PSK, and then all of them all together. You could do that. What you can do is then you can change your key, which means if you click here and you click on connect, it's going to ask you for the wireless key. This is the wireless, this is the wireless key that you're going to have to enter. You can change this if you want to. It's up to you to decide what it is that you want to make it. It's completely up to you. Nobody knows this key unless they come to the device. Like I mentioned in the previous introduction video with the B2000, this key is printed on the sticker on the back of the physical router. So if somebody sees this router and you want to keep the key secret, it's not going to be a secret because it's printed on the back of the device. And if you don't change it here, people will be able to access the device. So it's really up to you. You know where you're physically going to be storing the device, if it's going to be accessible to people or not. And it's really a choice that you have to make. The WPA encryption. This is the encryption that is used. You can choose between AES, TCP, or TCP and AES altogether. Right, so I'm going to click on next. Now, this is going to confirm all the settings that we've made, chosen the network mode, the connection mode, wireless LAN is enabled, all those things that we've chosen over the setup wizard, and we are now going to submit our settings to be written to the router. So I'm going to click on submit here. It's now going to go through the steps of configuring the router. Note that the router doesn't go off. It's staying on to submit all these settings. So just keep it all connected. There you go. It's fairly simple. It's fairly, it's fairly quick. And there you go. Okay, guys, that basically is the status and the setup wizard that I've gone through. I'm going to be doing the rest of the videos on each one of these little settings here. So this will be in the rest of the videos series, the video series. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.